Hi friends, I've got something super fun for you today, 5 build hacks in Palia that might just change the way you build forever. These tips aren't mine originally, so a big shout out to Bleed Kira and Horrible Gaming for the awesome inspiration, along with any other creators and community members that I can't think of or don't know. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe as it really helps out. Alright, let's jump right into tip number 1, decor on cooking appliances. Now, what you're going to need is your prep station or your mixing station, your stove, whatever, and a homestead floor cabinet. Then you're going to need one builder's wall, and then any item to cancel out the action. I like to specifically use plushies because they're obnoxious and you can definitely tell what is going on rather than using an additional item that you're already using. So first we're going to place the wall down, and this is just so that we can keep track of where we're placing things. It's kind of just helps to know that everything's going to be aligned. Then take your prep station or your mixing station, place it up against the wall. And now what you're going to do is notice how the plushie is in slot number 4. We're going to pick up the prep station, move it over. You're not going to left click, you're just going to hit the number 4 key and then right click to cancel out of it. And so it kind of like cancels out that placement. So we can place this homestead floor cabinet down. And now we can put any decorations that we want onto this floor cabinet. So here I chose to do a butcher's block with a knife, kind of just keeping it simple for this first demonstration. And then what you're going to do is just go to another plot or leave your plot and then come back. And once you return to your plot, you'll see that the prep station goes back to its original place because we canceled the placement of it. And so it will merge with that homestead floor cabinet and those decorations will be popped up right on top. And we can go ahead and just remove that back wall because we don't even need it anymore. And yeah, as you can see, it's fully functional and cute little designs here. Another one that I wanted to show you is I had to use 7 of these little pavers to get the height right, but I wanted to have these little crops sticking out to kind of make it look like we're cutting some veggies, and as you can see, this is what it looked like. So I just thought that was a pretty interesting idea, kind of pokes out the sides there, but overall, it's interesting. So these are just a few of the designs that I came up with. You can see we have the spa pieces there, we've got a plushie and a carrot, so definitely made use of some of these items. And as you can see here in a second, they are all fully functional, so no need to worry about that. Have fun decorating your appliances finally. Next up is floating items. What you're going to want for this is the items that you want to have floating. For me, I want to make some plushies float, and then you're going to want 1 or 2 of these wood walls. You will need 2 industrial wall shelves. You can probably use other shelves, but I've only really tried it with those ones, and they're the nicest. You're going to need 1 paver, or like you could use a barrel, or just something small that you can place the item on that will be floating. So you're going to place the paver or the item onto the bottom shelf. Then you're going to pick it up and cancel the placement onto the second shelf. And as you can see here, I'm using the giant honeybee plush to cancel the placement, which is kind of funny. But now you're going to place the item that you want to have floating onto that paver. And once you pick up the paver and place it down, as you'll see here in a second, the item will be floating. And it's going to be floating the distance that those shelves were away from each other. And then as you can see here, you pick it up and no matter where you take it, it will still be floating. And now, just to show that you can use other items than a paver, I'm taking the homestead barrel because it's just a nice outdoor decor item. You can really put it anywhere and it fits in with everything. And we're going to be using a fish plush for this one. So yeah, you can see that that works. And now I want to demonstrate that you can actually tilt the shelf after you place it down and then cancel the placement onto the top shelf. And what that's going to do is tilt your items. So depending on, you can adjust the rotation of the plushie here to get a different outcome, but you can see here it is all flopping up. So yeah, you can definitely have a lot of fun with the placement of your floating items. Next up is sinking items. We're going to be using similar mechanics, such as canceling the placement of items. So what you'll need is a gourmet soup bowl, dessert bowl, cup, whatever, some sort of gourmet utensil. You're going to need a wall and an industrial wall shelf. Then you will need a paver or some sort of little item to tether your item that you're sinking down to. So what I'm doing now is just trying to get the heights lined up here, and what you want to think of is, think of the shelf as the ground. So whatever the distance is between the shelf and the item that you're sinking is the distance that it's going to be sticking out of the ground. So you can see here, the table is slightly higher than the shelf, which means it's barely going to be sticking out of the ground. And I want it that way because I want it to kind of look like a path. So what you're going to do now to start the process is get your paver or whatever item you're going to be tethering to the table. And you can see the game's trolling me here. There we go. Place it on the shelf. Then we're going to pick it up, just move it over a few blocks, cancel the placement. Then we're going to group select the cup or the bowl with the table. So the game thinks that you're placing the bowl on top of the paver, and you can see it change heights when we hover over the paver. That's exactly what we want. So now go ahead and pick it back up, and when you place it down, it's going to calculate all that distance, and you can see our table is launched into the ground. Next up is merging items. Now, for this one, it's pretty simple. You're just going to need the items that you want to merge, and a gourmet soup or dessert bowl or even a cup will work. Now, you're going to want to line these up whichever way you want to get them merged, and you can see here, the moment they even get remotely close to touching each other, it's red. It's not going to happen. But I'm thinking here, this might be a good spot to merge it, so let's give it a shot. What you're going to do is take your gourmet dessert bowl, place it on top of the item that you want to merge, group select on the dessert bowl, not the cabinet, so that would be Alt on PC. And once you do that, the game thinks you're moving the dessert bowl, so it's going to let you slide it right into place. And as you can see here, we can even do it with larger items like this floor cabinet to kind of make it all one unit. And once I'm successful with that, I can just go ahead and grab this dessert bowl. It doesn't need to stay on top. But this is what it would look like if we didn't merge the items together but kept that same configuration. So you can see it does make a huge difference. Now I'm kind of just showing off the versatility of this hack, and that is using different items, not just, cabinets, but we can use it on these valley sunrise beds to make a giant bed, and then we can obviously decorate with the pillows. And so hopefully this gives you guys an idea. This one is pretty straightforward, but you can do it with almost any item in the game. Have fun! Next up, building out of bounds. What you're going to need for this is 3 wood plank pavers and 2 presents. So you're going to take the 3 wood plank pavers, place them one on top of each other, then the same thing with the presents, place them one on top of the other. You're going to take the top present, you're going to move it over just a few squares and cancel the placement with another item. Now, what you're going to do is take your floor items, I'm just using the wood floors, place those down. However many you're going to want to place out of bounds. For me, I'm just doing a small area, so it'll be a 2x2, but you can go as crazy with it as you want. Now we need to pick everything up by the present. So you're going to have to get into camera mode, and this is where you're going to want to go into your keybinds and set the move item and confirm item, the key to the alternate button. I'm using V here. And so you're going to want to kind of just move around until you see that present highlight. Use your alternate button, V or whichever one you choose, and then you're able to move it around, get it close to the area that you want, and as you can see here, you're able to kind of see the outline of these blocks, and then you can pick the present back up and move it where you want it to be. Now from here, because these are under the ground, you can place things like flowers and pavers out of bounds. And you can also do things like place furniture. As you can see, I'm making a nice little seating area near the dumpster, which I think spices it up in a nice, simple way. And now we have to deal with the issue of having a giant obnoxious red present just sitting out there. And so what we're going to do for that is you can either glitch an item there by ghosting it, if you know how to do that, or you can do what I'm doing here and just surround it with a couple flowers or decorations. Well, that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys like hanging out during live streams, you can go follow me over at twitch.tv/theQueenSurge. And if you're looking for other gaming content of mine, here's a video I made of Schedule 1. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!